What's up, Kings fans? We're here, we're drinking beers, and we're talking about your Sacramento Kings. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Royal Rebounds podcast with Calvin and Barry. Today, we are diving in on Davion Mitchell, the Sacramento Kings rookie. I am excited to see this guy in a Sacramento Kings jersey. I know watching him in the Summer League was super exciting, so this upcoming season, running the three-guard set, I am ecstatic. But before we dive into that, we are drinking beers today. And Calvin, what are we drinking?
We are still on our Hawaii theme. We are drinking the Gold Cliff IPA from Kona Brewing Company. That's Big Island, Hawaii. It's brewed with pineapple. It's refreshing. It's hoppy. It's delicious.
It is an absolutely delicious beer. You are correct. So, we are talking about Davion Mitchell today. And, you know, the funny thing, our last podcast was about Marvin Bagley. And we're talking about Marvin Bagley's been in the league for 3 years, going on number 4. He's only 22 years old. This is what to expect, blah, blah, blah. The funny thing is, Davion Mitchell is
22 years old.
23 years old. And this is his rookie year in the NBA. So, Calvin, what can we expect from Davion this year?
Man, hard to predict just because of the guards that are already on this team. You know, how is he going to fit in the lineup? We have a feeling that the three-guard lineup is going to be used prevalently on this team. We're excited to see how that works. But at the same time, he is still a rookie. What I think is fair to say that we know we can expect from Davion Mitchell is effort, hustle, and intensity, both defensively and offensively. You know, when he was drafted, I think there were a lot of Kings fans that were very
taken aback,
or questioning the draft pick. And you know, after the draft happened, I sat down and I thought about it, and I said, you know, I was in this exact same position last year, or now I guess 2 years ago, when the Kings drafted Tyrese Haliburton. Mm-hmm. I was very puzzled by the pick. I realized that they were sitting at 12, and this was a guy who a lot of people thought was in the top 5 or 6 players available in the draft, so it made sense from a best player available perspective, but I wasn't sure about the fit with the team, considering De'Aaron Fox is a rising star and the clear-cut point guard on this team. I wasn't sure how they were going to be able to play alongside each other, and I couldn't have been more wrong about the fit with Tyrese Haliburton. And I hope that this is a very similar, if not the same, situation with Davion Mitchell. But one thing I think is a very safe bet about this guy is that he's not going to come in expecting to score 20 points a game. This guy is here to play. He's here to win. He has won on literally every level of basketball that he has ever played on. He has worked himself into a star on that team. This is a guy that was not highly recruited out of high school. He ended up at Auburn, barely played there on a team that was good, but not a top 15 team in college basketball. Then he transfers to Baylor. He ends up working himself into the Defensive Player of the Year, a true leader of that team. And the thing that impresses me the most about Davion Mitchell is his work ethic. You can see it in his statistics. In college, he improved every year in every statistic, particularly in shooting. The guy shot 45% from 3 last year, which is an astounding improvement from his 29% from 3 when he was at Auburn. Played a lot more games and played a lot more minutes at Baylor for sure, so you definitely have to take that into account. But this is a guy who just works. He works hard. He has the right attitude. He has a winning attitude, And I think that's going to rub off on this team, even though he's a rookie and even though he's not necessarily the leader of this team, because we would expect De'Aaron Fox to be that guy. We certainly hope so, because I think De'Aaron Fox is the best player on this team, so he should be the leader. But this is the type of guy that we've been talking about Sacramento needs. They need that culture-changing person, the guy who is going to bring it every day in practice, get the team to buy in defensively. I would love for De'Aaron Fox to have that same mentality, but sometimes you can be the best player on the team and not be the leader of the team. And I think a guy like Marcus Smart, who we're going to talk about in this podcast, is a perfect example of that in Boston.
Yeah, and real quick, we want to give a quick shout out to our number one fan, Tanvir Atwal.
Tanvir.
Thank you so much for supporting us. I also want to remind you all to please like this video. If you want to join the Royal family, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hitting that subscribe button down below. And if you'd like to find out when Calvin and I put out a new video, make sure you hit that cowbell down below as well.
That's right.
So back on the subject of Davion Mitchell, this guy is an absolute dog. I am so excited to have him on this year's Sacramento Kings. He is everything that this team has been missing. I know, for one, I wanted the Kings to draft Marcus Smart back in 2014. He ended up going pick number 6. The Kings end up picking Stauskas with number 8. We all know how that worked out. But this guy has the mentality, the dog mentality that this team needs. As they say, defense is contagious. And Davion Mitchell loves to play defense. He is that hard worker. He is going to be the first one in practice, the last one to leave. He is that Jimmy Butler type. He is the guy that will push this team to the next level. So I am so excited to have him on the squad. As we mentioned, he is a rookie this year, but he's 23 years old. He's older than half of this team. So I expect Davion to have a huge impact on this year's Sacramento Kings. I think he is going to be a big impact on the defensive end of the floor. I think he will be in the running for Rookie of the Year. So Kings fans, make sure you keep your eye out for that. Make sure you vote during the All-Star time. I know it feels sometimes like your vote doesn't matter, but make sure you guys place that vote. Davion Mitchell, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. We'd love to see him in that category. But as Calvin mentioned, he is a Marcus Smart type. He is that dog. He is the guy that will push these Sacramento Kings to the next level. Calvin, what is your best and worst case scenario for Davion Mitchell next season? Or this upcoming season?
Well, you mentioned Rookie of the Year. I would love for that to be my best case scenario for Davion Mitchell. However, despite how good of a player I think Davion Mitchell is, I'm not going to say that that's best case scenario for him, and there's a couple reasons why. Number one, he's coming into a situation where he's playing behind 2 guards that are already very well established, all-star potential in De'Aaron Fox. Tyrese Haliburton was one of those Rookie of the Year type candidates last year. You look at Corey Joseph, who played in 44 games with the Kings last year before he got traded. He was the 3rd guard in that 3-guard lineup that they ran a lot, and he only averaged 21 and a half minutes a game. So for Davion Mitchell to be in the Rookie of the Year running at 21 minutes a game, that's going to be a little tough. Now, maybe he does play more than that. Maybe he plays 24, 25 minutes a game. But when you look at this rookie class, there's going to be some serious competition for Rookie of the Year. He's going up against guys like Cade Cunningham, who's definitely going to play a lot of minutes in Detroit. Jalen Green, who's going to play a ton of minutes in Houston. Evan Mobley. There's a long list of guys. We've talked about how this is a great draft class. So I think that's maybe an unrealistic expectation for him. That being said, I think he's going to have a huge impact on this team, and I'm not necessarily sure you're going to see it in the stat sheet. But what he's going to bring to this team every day in practice, he's going to score, he's going to play defense, he's going to guard bigger players. I think they're going to find ways, and I think the Kings are very excited about using him in very different situations. He can guard players that are much bigger than him, even at 6'2", which gives you a lot of flexibility defensively in your lineup because De'Aaron Fox can still play the primary point guard of the opposing team. Tyrese Haliburton can guard 2s and 3s as well. Even zone defenses. I think that the Kings can mix up their looks a lot, and I think that they're going to be a team that is going to surprise a lot of people defensively, especially coming off of the season that they had last year. Worst case scenario for Davion Mitchell is he gets traded to Philadelphia for Ben Simmons. Right?
I thought we were going to say that name anymore.
How could it not get any worse than that, you know?
I thought we weren't going to say that name anymore. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that Davion Mitchell is an absolute stud. He is a winner. And, I think the biggest impact on this team, the Davion Mitchell effect on this team, is that guys like De'Aaron Fox are going to work harder. Guys like Tyrese Haliburton are going to work harder because this next guy is coming for your spot. He's working hard. He's going to be the first guy in the gym. He's going to be the last guy to leave. And that's contagious. That's going to be push on you because this guy's coming for your job. And if you're not working hard, he's going to get it. So I think we're going to expect a better year out of De'Aaron Fox. We're going to expect a better year out of Davion Mitchell. We're going to expect a better year out of Buddy Hield. And that's all because, Tyrese Haliburton. And that's all because Davion Mitchell is pushing these guys towards that goal. I think Davion Mitchell is going to bring winning to the Sacramento Kings. He's going to bring that dog attitude, that Marcus Smart effect of he's going to do anything to win. And I think that's going to drive this team to the next level. So I, for one, am very excited about having Davion Mitchell on this team. I think that his impact is going to be beyond his personal stats. He's going to affect the whole team overall. And I think he is the culture changer that the Sacramento Kings need. And I think he will push them to the playoffs. And you can quote me on that.
He will help push them to the playoffs. Let's be clear. I mean,
he can't do it by himself.
He's not going to do it by himself.
Yes.
And I expect De'Aaron Fox to have an all-star year. Just like I thought he was going to be an all-star last year, very deserving of an all-star last year. I expect Tyrese Haliburton to be better this year than last year. But that's the thing, is the Kings are improving their depth. They're improving their overall roster. And I think Davion Mitchell is going to play a huge factor in the bench. One of the things that we said a lot on the Royal Report last year, which is, if you're not familiar, our weekly show that airs every Friday during the season. It will be coming back for its second season this year. Be sure to stay tuned for that. But one of the things we said over and over again on that show last year was the Kings have a solid starting five that actually was one of the better performing starting fives in the league last year, not defensively, but absolutely offensively.
But no depth.
Yet they had no bench. And when they traded for guys like DeLon Wright and Terrence Davis towards the end of the year, even when De'Aaron Fox was out with the COVID protocol that he had to miss those last few games of the year, the Kings won a lot of those games because they had more depth coming off the bench. And to have a guy like this who's going to be a defensive leader on this team, whether he's playing off the bench or not, a guy that's going to run the offense, a guy that can create his own shot too. Davion Mitchell is a fantastic defender, but he's a really skilled offensive player as well. Really improved his shooting percentage from outside. He can get to the basket. His playmaking ability is the thing that he needs to improve upon the most at the next level. So we'll see how that goes here in his rookie season. But this is going to make the Kings overall a much more complete roster, which is one of the things that they needed most last season. So I have very high expectations for this guy this year, and I'm really excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, what's one way you turn around a franchise is you add winners to that program. A guy like Davion Mitchell, a guy like Tyrese Haliburton, these guys hate to lose. They're gamers. They're going to play as hard as they can, and if they end up losing the game, they'll be in the gym they'll be in the facility working late to correct things to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Please, Monty, do not trade Davion. Do not trade Tyrese Haliburton. These are franchise-changing guards that will bring success to Sacramento. All they want to do is win. And that's all we want as fans. So I think it's a perfect match for the Sacramento Kings.
I couldn't agree more. And I'm just looking at Marcus Smart's stats here since he's been in the NBA. You know, this is the guy that we're comparing him to. And if you were to just look at this guy's stats and not know who you were looking at, you know, you'd see he's averaged 10 points a game for his career. He's averaged 1.5 steals, 4 assists. His free throw percentage is 77%. His shooting percentage from 2 is only about 48 or 43%, 43.8%. Those numbers don't jump out to you. But if I were to tell you that Marcus Smart was going to play for the Kings next year, you'd probably be pretty excited because you know what Marcus Smart brings to an organization, brings to the team. You know he's going to bring it on defense. You know he's going to guard the opponent's best player. He can guard multiple positions. And he's going to be a leader out there. And I think that Davion Mitchell can be that same type of player, even if he's only averaging 10 points a game or 9 points a game. And the fact of the matter is, Davion Mitchell is a better shooter today than Marcus Smart is. So there's a very good chance that he could average more points than that. So I think this is a huge win for the Kings. I think Monty McNair has really, really played his cards very, very well in the draft in his 2 years as GM. And now it's really up to Coach Walton, Coach Christie, and all the other assistant coaches on the staff, as well as the players, to buy in defensively, because this team is good enough offensively to be a top 8, top 7, maybe even top 6 team in the Western Conference. They're nowhere near good enough as of last year to be in that category defensively. But if they buy in and if they give the effort that I think they should be able to give, there's no reason why they can't be in that top 8.
Yeah, you had a top draft pick to this team. You bring back all 5 starters. You bring back the bench plus some. You add a couple guys. You know, there's no reason to expect or to not expect this team to make the playoffs next year, especially with a guy like Davion Mitchell who's got that defensive mind, who's got that dog mentality that's going to push this team to the next level. And that's all you can really ask for in players, right? Is hitting a wall and going past it, pushing past that. And I am really excited for the Sacramento Kings next year. I think they will make the playoffs, but we do want to make an announcement. I know there has been a certain inside person named as a color commentator this year. Calvin, would you like to announce that?
We want to give a big shout out and a big congratulations to Katie Christensen Hunter, who has been a member of the Sacramento Kings broadcast team for a number of years now. She's done great work in Sacramento ever since she's gotten here. Very knowledgeable, very professional, and she has now been promoted to the color commentator full-time, taking Doug Christie's position in the broadcast booth alongside Mark Jones. So,
yeah,
congratulations, Katie. We look forward to listening to you all season long.
Congratulations, Katie. We're happy to see you in the booth. Happy to have your knowledge and you talking to all us Kings fans. And, sometimes the color commentator has to be more than just a play-by-play person. They have to help ease us Kings fans into the season, whether we're winning or losing. But she is the shoulder to cry on for all of us Kings fans. So thank you so much, Katie, for moving forward with this position. We want to thank you all for joining us on another Royal Rebounds podcast. Let us know down below in the comments how you feel about Davion Mitchell, how you think he will produce in this next season. If you feel like he is the X factor for these Sacramento Kings. And also if you feel like Tanvir will be watching this episode.
Tanvir.
Thanks again, and we'll catch you on the next one. But in the meantime, go Kings.
Go Kings.